let's get into the Tottenham update first and foremost. We're going to talk about Alfie Devine. He has officially joined Belgian Pro League side Westerlo on loan for the remainder of the season, which was confirmed yesterday by Tottenham. Good loan move for him. He gets to play hopefully week in, week out in a fairly strong league, get to link up with Luka Vuskovic. They can form a bit of a bond before he officially moves to Tottenham. So yeah, I think it's a good loan move for him.
Yeah, and he becomes the main guy. He takes a number 10 slot, number 10 shirt as well. So that's really good. And yes, you know, I would prefer him to be going to a championship team, which was reportedly on deadline day. We were looking to do that. Unfortunately, you know, I think a move to Birmingham didn't fail to materialise. So he's stuck at Tottenham. But I do think it's a positive thing. It's a league. He's in a top division. You know, there are some very good teams in there in the Belgian league. Like, you got the likes of Anderlecht, you got Standard Liège. These are good teams, and he will be coming up against some good teams, some good players. Probably are going up against Vertonghen at some point, I'd assume, and Toby as well, also still there, Antwerp. So Belgian, look, as much as it's not a top league, there's still definitely some good teams in the Belgian league, and he will be tested. It's not going to be easy for him, but it'll be interesting to see how he performs wearing that number 10 shirt, being the main man at a team. Can he rise above it? Can he be the best player in that team? Can he, you know, absolutely kill it in that league? It'll be very interesting to see how he gets on, and I'm very excited to be keeping tabs on Alfie Devine, despite the fact it would be nice if it was also a championship move or a lower Premier League move and you can test him at that level. But it's still a step up, and it's still a big level for him. So I'm very interested to see how he gets on.
Be interesting to see what the quality difference is from the Belgian Pro League to the Championship.
Yeah, I think at the top end of it, of the Belgian Pro League, it's probably better, I would say. You know, I do think teams like Anderlecht and Standard Liège and you know, a few of these teams are probably Premier League quality, but when you get to, like, you know, the mid to lower echelons of the Belgian league, is that as good as Championship? I don't know.
I'm not even sure if Standard Liège are that good anymore. I think Club Brugge, obviously the best
as well,
team
yeah,
there.
Bruges.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. I think it'll be a good loan move for him. You don't really see that many young English talent going over to the Belgian league. You see them going out to Germany, you see them going out to the Netherlands, but you don't really see them going out to Belgium too often. So it is a interesting one. But I would have preferred him to go to the Championship or a lower-end Premier League team, or maybe the Netherlands or to Germany. But this is what they've chosen for him. It looks like we're forming a bit of a feeder club thing with this Westerlo sending Luka Vuskovic there and now Devine. But it'll be good good for them to play together as well.
Exactly, learn more about each other's game and everything like that. So I think it's positive. Have to wait and see what happens with how the season goes. I'm not sure if was there a break clause in January or anything like that got announced?
There was rumours of that. I don't know if it was actually put in or not. I think surely if they were smart about it, they would have put a break clause in for January.
And that's what I would hope, but I haven't seen anything confirmed about that. So be a shame if there isn't, and if he does really kill it and he's there for the whole year. But look, if he can gain that confidence, you know, be there playing regular football, it's really going to benefit him. I really believe that, and be interesting to see what position he plays, because, you know, he said it when he was on loan at Plymouth, he likes to play more attacking. He was actually playing as part of a front three in pre-season. He was playing in the middle three, sometimes as an 8, sometimes as a 10, sometimes as a 6. So be interesting to see where he fits in at Westerlo, given the number 10 shirt. So maybe is that an indication? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think it probably is, to be honest. Number 10, getting the number 10 shirt at any club is significant. So hopefully he starts week in, week out and shows what he's really about, because I thought he was really impressive in the pre-season for Tottenham. Next up, Alejo Veliz has been nominated as Under-23 Player of the Month for La Liga, alongside Pablo Barrios, Crescentos Uche, Lamine Yamal and Raul Moro. So Alejo Veliz making waves in La Liga.
It's amazing what one goal can do.
Yeah.
But look, from what I gather, he's actually been fairly impressive in his first few games for Espanyol, and that's really really exciting for him. Obviously, he scored a really nice goal, last-minute winner in the last game. If you see, he takes it really well inside the box, quick thinking, sharp movement, and a good finish into the roof of the net. I think he started all their games so far, and by and large, I've been looking at some of the stats. I haven't seen all his performances, but from the stats-wise, he seems to be having some decent performances and got his goal. So maybe that's a sign of things to come. And maybe, you know, I don't think you get nominated for Player of the Month if you haven't been playing well, regardless of the goal. So he must be really starting to make a bit of waves there at Espanyol, hopefully.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at his. So he's played 4 games, 1 goal and 2 yellow cards. Classic Alejo.
Go on, Alejo.
Yeah, I like Alejo Veliz. I don't understand the bad rap that he does get from certain people, and I think there's definitely a player in there, and I like what he's about, his mentality-wise. I like that he's just very aggressive on the pitch. He's a really good presser, and I feel like he's like, in terms of profile-wise, a really good number 9 for in Ange's system.
Yeah, because he's actually quite light on his feet, despite being quite a physical presence. He's quite tall, but he also seems fairly quick. He's having to have sharp movement as well. So I think, obviously, he's still very young, 20 years of age or 21 years of age now. So I think last year clearly was a disaster for him in terms of his development and the amount of time he got on the football pitch. So I think it will be interesting to see where he's at the end of this year, how many goals he scored for Espanyol, how he has developed. But I like the look of him. I think whenever he's come on for Tottenham, despite getting limited minutes, he always tries to make an impact and tries to get involved in the play and doesn't seem to be anonymous. He likes to put himself about, and I like that about him. Very passionate, clearly very emotional. And if he can harness that in a positive way, that will only benefit him and give him an edge over certain players. So really exciting start to life at Espanyol for him after what was a disaster loan at Sevilla in La Liga. And I'm really interested to see how he kicks on from here and if he can really go on a bit of a run.
Yep. Next up, we're going to be talking about the goal of the month nominees in the Premier League for August. Yves Bissouma is up for it for his goal against Everton, Mateo Kovacic for his goal against Chelsea, Jarrod Bowen against Palace, Cole Palmer against Wolves, Luis Diaz against Brentford, Bellegarde against Forest, Liam Delap against Fulham, and Sugawara against Brentford for Southampton.
Bissouma's got a decent shot, I think.
You reckon?
Why not?
I didn't see Liam Delap's goal, but I heard that was brilliant.
That was a great goal. Although it was a great goal, don't get me wrong. He took it from the halfway line, beat a player, and then smashed it into the top corner from 25 yards. But Leonard does get a massive hand to it. Probably should have saved it. Who he disappointed. You know, Bissouma's goal, I believe, I read it's the goal with the longest passing sequence so far.
Oh, really? Is that right?
In the Premier League.
Wow.
So I think it was a passing sequence of over 20 passes.
So you got the passing sequence in the build-up, and then you've also got the rocket shot as well.
Exactly. So that's what, and you got that little bit of brilliance from Decky as well in the box. So I think he's got a decent chance of winning it. It might be the best in terms of like all of the elements. He's got team, bit of individual brilliance, and a long-range goal as well. I think he's got it all. Kovacic, I think Sanchez has to save that.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the Diaz goal was good as a bit of a counter attack, and it's a good finish. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's better than Bissouma's.
Is Cole Palmer against Wolves the lob?
Yes, that's a good goal as well. It is a good goal, and it was a quick thinking from Sanchez, long boot upfield. Jackson just knocks it into Palmer, and Palmer sees Sarr out of position and lobs him. It is a good goal. I'll give him that. I don't know if it's as good as Bissouma's, but it's a good goal. I don't know. I think Bowen's goal was nice against Palace. I just think Bissouma's might actually be, in terms of everything, it might actually be the best goal.
All right, get Bissouma that award, guys. Come on. Next up, we're going to be talking about Eberechi Eze once again. Not strictly Tottenham related, but Sammy Mockbell says that reported long-term Tottenham target Eberechi Eze's £68 million transfer release clause will reactivate again next summer. It's made up of an initial £60 million plus a further £8 million in add-ons, which was the same as this summer just gone. Do you believe that Spurs could potentially go back in for Eze next summer?
I think it's unlikely, but I think this was a big opportunity to do it. But then again, if the clause is there, I would never rule it out. I'm just trying to think what the state of the squad might look like in a year's time. Obviously, Werner might not be here. We have to see if Solomon's going to come back or not. We have to see how good of a season Maddison's had.
But is Eze considered I don't think he'll be considered a left winger. He'll be more considered like if he's a signing, he'll be a midfield signing, not a winger signing, in my opinion.
Probably. I mean, that's where I think his best work comes in. I think he's best when he's cutting inside and in those central areas. I do think he can be an effective winger. I just don't think that's where his best work comes from. And I think...
Especially in the Ange system.
You see how he plays for Glasner. They play with wing-backs and tucked inside forwards. And yes, you could probably argue under, I think, Hodgson or Vieira, he was actually genuinely playing as like a number 10. So they had a winger to the side of him, and he was playing in the pocket there in that number 10 position, or even in a 3-4-3, similar position to where Maddison plays now. He was kind of playing like that. But under Glasner, he's a bit wider than he was, but he's still very much in those pockets of spaces, playing in the central areas. So is that a player that we desperately need right now? Obviously, Maddison and Decky are doing those roles and doing it great. You could definitely say Eze is probably better than either or both of those players. You can definitely make the case for that. Is he an essential player right now? Probably not, which I made that argument in the summer. But he's a player who definitely ups the quality of the squad, and he's a player who I'd love to bring to Tottenham, and I'm a massive fan of his. So if we can find a place for him in the squad, I think it'd be a brilliant signing. And for that price, you could do a lot worse. I think you look at the price a lot of other players going for, that's not a terrible price. But again, considering it's the release clause, 60 million up front for him, is it a player that's completely necessary? You can make the argument either way. So I don't know if Tottenham stump up the cash. Probably not, but I'd love to see it.
I don't see us stumping up the cash in the way that Crystal Palace want us to stump up the cash. I mean, I can see us spending a 68 million on Eze, but I can't see us spending 60 million up front and, the rest 8 million in add-ons. So as much as I'd love Eze at the club, I just can't see it happening. But it was a bit of a strange interview with the Palace chairman. Did you see it?
Strange. No, what did he say?
He was talking about Eze, and he was saying how surprised he was that there was such a lack of interest in Eberechi Eze in the summer, and it almost felt like through that interview he was kind of like
disappointed,
a bit disappointed that he didn't couldn't get the money this summer,
which is strange considering they sold Olise, they sold Anderson as well. They got good money for their players, and you would think a team like Palace, who they appointed Glasner in the last year, which is quite an ambitious appointment for a team like Palace after he replaced Hodgson. They went on such a great run. You would have thought they would want to really kick on from that, and it seems as though instead of looking to improve on that, maybe he got money, dollar signs in his eyes instead, which is, if I'm a Palace fan, quite disappointing, especially as well because they've very heavily considered selling Guehi as well. So he could have easily gone out the door if Newcastle met the asking price, which luckily for Palace they didn't, or Palace fans I should say. So there is, look, it's peculiar, but then again, that is how they run. Clubs that size who have to compete for PSR rules and have to find creative ways of competing. It's what they've always done, Palace. If there's good offers, they'll sell and reinvest, and they'll buy cheaper, and then they'll look to sell on those players in the future. Yeah,
but you also look at the example of Wilfried Zaha. I know they sold him originally to Man United, but once he was their proper talisman, I mean, they did kind of resist the temptation to sell him year on year until very recently.
They probably just never got the offer they wanted.
Maybe, yeah. And last but not least, let's talk about international Spurs. England under-19s faced Italy under-19s. It finished 2-2. Mikey Moore and Leo Black were on the bench. Mikey Moore coming on for the last half an hour. Leo Black coming on for the last 15 minutes for his debut, and he got the equaliser in the last minute. So big up to Leo Black. Korea played Palestine in a 0-0 draw. Son Heung-min playing 90 minutes, and I believe there was a bit of a blunder there from Sonny.
Yeah, he in the 90th minute rounded the keeper, open goal, similar to the angle he had against Everton when he tackled Pickford. But unfortunately, on this occasion,
was
he
it
hit
completely open goal?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
And he hit the post, outside of the post, got it wrong, and ended up drawing 0-0. And I'm sure, look, unfortunately we didn't watch the game, but if it was 0-0 and you're relying on that moment, he probably was a frustrating day for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Azerbaijan played Sweden. It finished 3-1 to Sweden on the day. Decky getting 90 minutes, Bergvall coming on for the final 20 minutes, and Dejan Kulusevski captaining his country, I believe for the first time as well. So it must have been a massive moment for him. The goals coming from 2 from Isaac and 2 from Gyökeres, 2 assists from Gyökeres as well. well.
Which is mad when you think about it, because, you know, he's only 24, Decky, and it shows the standing he must have in the squad that they've given him the captain's armband. There's probably, I don't know who's in their team at the moment, but I actually do think they have quite a young team at the moment. But they did have like quite experienced players.
Olaf Melberg.
Not that experienced, but like, you know, Forsberg, people like him. I don't know if he's still playing.
So I'll tell you the team. It's Johansson in goal, Walkvist, Douglas, Hien, Augustason at the back, Svanberg, Ayari in midfield, Kulusevski, Isaac, Alanga and Gyökeres. So I think Kulusevski is the real big standout choice there.
You know, Isaac, he's also a big player, was big standing in that team. You know, so anyway, I think it's really interesting that they gave him the captain's armband. Really happy for him. He's always been a very good speaker. You've seen when he's spoken in interviews, or, you know, when you've seen him do interviews and what's called, he did that interview with who was at the Players Tribune, which was brilliant. He's always been a very good speaker, always speaks very well. So but they must really respect him if they believe he's captain material at such a young age. So really impressive stuff from Decky, and hopefully he takes that leadership material into Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last game was early hours of this morning. Argentina beat Chile by 3-0. Yet another clean sheet for Cuti Romero and Argentina.
It's really, he's nuts for Argentina. He literally barely loses a game, barely concedes a goal. It's incredible, and I'm sure he put in another top display, knowing him.
So I'm just trying to look at, like, so they conceded 1 goal against Ecuador in literally the last minute. So apart from that, they conceded 1 goal to Guatemala back in June. They literally hardly ever concede a goal, Argentina. It's actually mad.
Yeah, and Romero's usually like man of the match as well in most of these games. So look, hopefully he can take that form into Tottenham, which I guess we're always hoping for that. I do think he's had, by and large, played well for Spurs, but look, those lapses in concentration have hurt us against Leicester and Newcastle. There's no getting away from that. So a lot of that's why the accusations always come. Oh, you know, he always plays well better for Argentina than Spurs and all that stuff. So look, if he wants to, I guess we play a different way to Argentina, so it's different. It's harder to compare. It's like comparing apples and oranges, but you know, you don't see him having these kind of lapses of concentration for Argentina. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Alvarez's goal in that game as well. Absolute goal. Brilliant goal. But they did start a back 3 in this game with Otamendi, Martinez and Romero in the centre of the back 3. So that was interesting. And tonight is another round of international fixtures. You've got Wales playing Turkey tonight in the Nations League. Ben Davies and Brennan Johnson. Radu Dragusin and Romania are away to Kosovo. Manos Solomon is for Israel, away to Belgium. Italy, with Udoki and Vicario in the squad, play France tonight, which is going to be a good game. Bissouma called up for Mali in the African Nations qualifier against Mozambique. Pape Matar and Senegal in an AFCON qualifier against Burkina Faso. Archie Gray got called up to the under-21s, England under-21s, who play Northern Ireland tonight. Odebear got called up to the France under-21s, who play Slovenia tonight. Josh Keeley for the Irish under-21s that play Turkey. Luca Gunter, Ashley Phillips and Dane Scarlett all playing for the England under-20s elite team that play Turkey tonight. And the next fixtures come around on Sunday with Sweden against Estonia. And then Monday, Tuesday is the last couple of days of internationals, which we'll cover in the early part of next week. So, yeah, busy week of internationals this week in anticipation for the North London derby.
Everyone holding their breath.
Literally, that's all it is right now. Because right now, as it stands, if Van der Ven and Solanke can make the games, which it looks like they probably will, we've got a clean bill of health going into North London derby.
I don't say that. Don't speak too soon, bloody hell.
But that is your Tottenham update for today, guys.